feels so good, and it's only 6 o'clock in the morning. Hi guys, it's Vanessa from Wander Onwards, and today I am coming to you from this gorgeous Dahabiya in the Nile River in Egypt. So I want to talk about all things Nile River cruise, what to expect, how to plan properly, so stick around to find out more. As always, if you are enjoying travel content like this, drop a follow while you're here. It helps my channel immensely and I would really appreciate it. All right, so let's get into what a Dahabiya is, how do you find one, how did I get connected with this boat, etc. A Dahabiya is a traditional sailboat in Egypt, and there's about 2 levels. The first level is normally housing for crew. The second level is normally housing for the patrons, an open eating space, etc. There are lots of different combinations of what a Dahabiya looks like, but the most important part is it's a more boutique and individualized experience, which is what I really wanted. You will also see cruise ships. Now, those are a little bit more commercial. They're more friendly for budget or group travelers. Those can hold about 80 to 150 people, depending on how big they are. So you can really tell the difference between this Dahabiya, which holds like 8 rooms for patrons, I believe, in comparison to a larger cruise ship that is more commercial. When it comes to pricing, the exclusivity of a Dahabiya is the driver. A more commercial cruise will cost you anywhere from 300 to 600 USD for 5 days, whereas a Dahabiya can cost you anywhere from 800 to 3,000, depending on the furnishing, the food, the quality of the service, etc. So this Dahabiya was actually part of our package with today's sponsor, Egypt. Thanks so much, guys, for bringing me out here. And I want to guess that it's around the 800 mark for the 4 days that we're on the Dahabiya. While you're on the Dahabiya, it's important to remember that nearly everything is included, from your excursions to your food to your drinks that are non-alcoholic and also like non-fizzy apparently. I've paid for a Sprite or a sparkling water, but overall I thought this was a really great price point because everything is included, so you don't have to think about anything. Also, our guide came on the Dahabiya with us, so he's been taking us around the little cities and the little temples. We just did a village experience yesterday where we got to go to a local home, see how it's set up, see how the family participates in agriculture and commerce, and it was really, really exciting to see a totally different way of living and how happy these people were. I cannot tell you how jokey everybody was. The children were running around after chickens. I met a very beautiful cat that I asked to buy. And it was just a completely different experience to what my life is like in Germany or where I'm from in the United States. If you're coming to Egypt, you definitely don't want to just stay in Cairo. Cairo is very interesting. There's this unique blend of old with new, but it is quite hectic and the hustle culture is really real because the cost of living is so high. If you run away to Luxor and anywhere in between Luxor and Aswan, you get a more relaxed and gentle experience for Egypt. And honestly, this is my favorite part of the trip so far. Egypt did a really great job of speaking to me, understanding my priorities, and then giving me an itinerary that reflects my style of travel. So being part of the Dahabiya was like no nonsense, no negotiation. This is why I'm in the country. So I made that really clear, and there was a little bit of chaos with the flights when it came to when we flew. So we are at the Cairo domestic airport and there is nothing to hear. Don't come early. We flew from Cairo at like 9 o'clock at night, landed, went to a hotel, woke up at 3:30 in the morning for our sunrise balloon ride. But that was my problem. That was my cross to bear and my decision to do. So just be aware of your timings and how things are organized because there are set times of when these boats leave. So you need to be just more aware of it. The route that we're choosing to take for our Dahabiya is from Luxor all the way down to Aswan. We actually had to take a flight from Cairo to Luxor because it was just so far. In Luxor, we did a gorgeous hot air balloon experience for sunrise. That was truly incredible. That was amazing. Separate from the Dahabiya, but I will be including footage of it because that's how amazing it was. Once we landed in Luxor, we got on our boat around that area, and then now we're just like floating down the Nile River, which is incredible, a dream come true for me. Along the Nile River, there are loads of temples and villages and things to just experience and understand. So I really love the Dahabiya private, more boutique experience because I feel like I can be a participant rather than just like a tourist with a camera taking pictures of people living their daily lives. Like, truly and honestly, this is much more involved, natural. Our guide speaks like 12 languages, which is amazing. And so he's been communicating with everyone on the street. He's also kind of like the Prince of Luxor, in my humble opinion, because he knows everyone, the guides, the guards, the people at the temples. And so this allows us to have a really amazing experience while we're here. Let's talk about tipping culture. So in Egypt, tipping culture drives the economy. So I know it can be a little uncomfortable with people being so forward, but this is a pretty critical part of their economy and lifestyle. Here in the Dahabiya, we don't tip all day, every day for every little thing. At the very end of our experience, we tip one time, and I myself plan to be very generous because of the amazing time that we've had. In general, I would want to say like 60% of the people on the Dahabiya who work here speak some amount of English. The captain, the chef, our tour guide, they speak the best English. So if we ever need anything, like we go to them first. But everyone on the boat is trying, and they're quite shy, which I think is really like humbling and interesting because they are very conscious of wanting to create a wonderful time for us. So they don't want to like blow it by saying something. It's really, really sweet. Another thing that I want to highlight is a lot of people told me before I came here, don't go to Egypt, don't go to Egypt. It's too dangerous for women specifically. And maybe in Giza, where there's not a lot of people out in the night, I felt a little weird when people kept approaching me for taxis or for souvenirs. But here in like the countryside, everyone has been super, super kind, friendly, actually kind of afraid of us, which is my preferred way of living. And so when we spoke to our guide about how many warnings we got about the dangers of Egypt for women, he got really sad. Apparently, this is a stereotype that the whole country has been trying to shake because tourism accounts for a significant part of their country's GDP. So without tourists, their whole economy comes to a standstill. They desperately want to be associated with kindness, with safety, with hospitality. And a really interesting thing that someone told me is in Egypt, violent crime is like not a thing. And if it does happen, the once in the off chance, because, you know, bad people are going to do bad things, it becomes national news that everyone mourns. And then the world seems to fixate on it. We have this gorgeous place, which is super safe in the countryside in particular. And actually, Cairo, people will hit you up for money, but they're not going to rob you. They're not going to attack you. And it really is an injustice that this country seems to have a label that they've been trying so hard to shake off, and they haven't been so successful just yet. Let's talk about dressing for a Dahabiya and just like an Egyptian experience in general. So as you can see, my shoulders are covered, my knees are covered by this dress, but we've been seeing a lot of people not be covered and like do what you want to do. Mostly dressing modestly is for your comfort because people are interested in you if you're a little bit less covered up. Already you're a tourist, so they're curious about who you are and what you're doing there. And so dressing modestly is an opportunity for you to feel more comfortable because people will probably give you less attention and stare a little bit less. That being said, we've seen some very questionable outfits here, like outfits I wouldn't be comfortable wearing at the beach in Western Europe. So that woman was fine. No one was harassing her. That was a choice. But just recognize that it's up to you, your choices, and how you want to feel. All right, guys, that is the end of my review of the Dahabiya experience. Thank you so much for being part of this channel, and don't forget to drop a follow while you're here. It really helps my channel grow and let people know what I'm doing. If you want to know more about travel, moving abroad, working in tech, head to my blog, wanderonwards.co, to find out more. See you in the next video.